Hi, I'm Amy, thank you for tuning in. This is my June wrap-up video, and as per usual it's going to be pretty short because, surprise surprise, I haven't read many books this month. It seems to be a pattern of this year and a little bit of last year, if we're being honest, that I'm just not reading that much. I think I've got a lot of writing commitments at the moment, so that's kind of sucking up the time where I would probably be reading. I'm just cramming in as much writing and editing as I can, so haven't had any events in June to update you about. I did just get my edits back for my book that's coming out next year that hasn't been announced yet, and they are really helpful, not too overwhelming, so I'm really grateful about that. I also discovered a new bookshop in York that's only been open for a few months, I think, called Criminally Good Books, which is a true crime, thriller and mystery type shop. And they've got a few children's books, they had some picture books that have apparently been sold recently, mostly adult, and then some YA, and I went to sign some of my books there. So if you're in York, there are quite a few signed copies there. And I also went and signed some books in Waterstones, York, which is always a lovely shop. So I think that's all I wanted to update you about, so let's get to the books I've read. I've got a little note in front of me because I did read some books, not physically this month. So I read If We Were Villains, which is a dark academia book, on audiobook towards the beginning of the month, so excuse me for my memory, but it's already a little hazy. I've been really enjoying dark academia lately. If you have any recommendations, please put them in the comments, because I've read Ninth House, I've read that, I've read An Education in Malice, I think, recently, and I've just been really enjoying that kind of creepy, atmospheric, steeped in education. One of the main things I really liked about If We Were Villains is the fact that all the characters are studying Shakespeare, they're students of theatre, and they're absolutely obsessed with Shakespeare to the point that they're quoting it and kind of embodying it in their everyday lives. I really liked the atmosphere of this book. I thought the writing was excellent. I'd like to see a physical copy of it because I have a feeling from the way the audiobook was read, it seems like it might be written on page like a play script possibly, so I would like to see that. But the audiobook was very well done. The plot was kind of creepy, atmospheric, with some real shock moments. Great characterization. I thought it was excellent. The other book that I don't physically have in front of me is Hellbent by Leigh Bardugo, because I got that out of the library. It's a sequel to Ninth House, and I'm really enjoying these books. They are quite slow paced and very kind of steeped in the mythology of the world, so lots of descriptions of settings and how the world of Ninth House works. I did really enjoy this one. I liked the fact that a character that we'd kind of not seen much of in the present day story in the first book, we get to see in this book without giving too much away to you. And as always, Leigh Bardugo just creates really well-drawn worlds, excellent characters that you really root for. So although the pace was a little bit on the slower side, and that's not normally my thing, I think for Leigh Bardugo and for these books, it works really well. Next to the physical books that I read, I didn't read many physical books, but I read brilliant ones. So Murder in the Family has been on my TBR for a while. I think it was Kerry on BookTok who was talking about this one. I'll link it in my description. It's mixed media, and quite often books I read that are mixed media are a mixture of narrative and mixed media, which I quite enjoy, because I find the mixed media sometimes, if there isn't a narrative thread for me, I get a little bit lost. This one is all mixed media, and the narrative, I just remembered I pressed some flowers into this on holiday, so there's a little bit of flower pressing in the middle if you're wondering what the page they're doing there. So I took this on holiday, as I just alluded to. It is all mixed media, and I really enjoyed it. At first I found it very slightly disorienting that there wasn't any narrative to follow, but as soon as I got used to it, I thought the mixed media looked brilliant on the page. I'm going to show you some early stuff so I don't spoil anything. I love the fact that it really looks like blog posts and newspapers to the best of your ability when you're dealing with a small book that's in black and white. So when websites and things are covered, it still looks really good. And I loved trying to unravel this story. There were some really good reveals. I liked the fact that the characters felt well drawn, even though you weren't getting descriptions of them as such in the way that you would in a novel. You got enough to kind of give a flavour of what they looked like and who they were. And I love finding out more about each of them as the book went on. So highly recommend that if you're looking for an adult thriller that will keep you guessing and is good fun. This one definitely. I absolutely love Lauren James's books, and this is their latest. It is, looking at the title, it says Homicide in Hollywood. It's not that, it's Last Seen Online. Thank you, Walker Books, for the early copy of this. It comes out in August. So a while back, Ren wrote an online series by a fictional girl called An Unauthorized Fan Treatise, I think it was called. by a girl called Gotti who is obsessed with a fictional TV show. And this book draws on that, has some bits of it in there, but also has a really richly drawn out plot around it. So Gotti isn't the main character. We're following a girl called Delilah who ends up being pulled into Gotti's world, the world of this TV show, where one of the main cast is in prison for killing another member of the main cast. There are loads of online conspiracy theories about this fictional TV show, and I love that side of the book. The mystery is fantastic, and as always, Ren had some real kind of moments that I wasn't expecting. I kind of expect them now from Ren at this point, but still the book caught me off guard. I love the characters. The mixed media was used really well because the book is so ingrained in social media and online like dialogue and discourse about things. I think this is fantastic. If you've got any interest in Ren James's writing, if you've got any interest in Hollywood and reading YA thrillers, this one is great. So I was really craving some manga and I picked up one of my favourite series, and I'm definitely going to continue reading this. The only reason I didn't immediately binge the second book is that I lent it to somebody and never got it back because they kind of misplaced it when they moved house, and it happens. I didn't follow it up. I didn't pick up another copy. So I have now ordered the second copy and I'm going to hopefully read it soon. But this series is just, I mean, I would read the content one is one thing. I was really surprised reading this again. There was some stuff in there that shocked me. I read it towards the beginning of the month, so my brain is a little bit sketchy on the details of that, so please look it up. I'll just read you the blurb because I don't even know how I'd explain this book if not. There is a world of myth and magic that intersects ours, and only special few can see it. Miseo Harada is one such person. She wants nothing to do with magical realms. She just wants to have a normal high school life and maybe get a boyfriend. All that changes one day when Miseo is attacked by a demon. Her childhood friend Kyo suddenly returns to save her and tend her cuts with his tongue. It turns out Miseo is the bride of prophecy whose blood gives power to the demon clan who claims her, but most demons want to keep her power for themselves by eating her. Now Miseo is just trying to stay alive and decide if she likes it when Kyo licks her wounds. So it is a paranormal romance in case you didn't get it from the description. The pictures are really cute and funny but really explicit in some places, which I think was the thing that surprised me this time. I'm just trying to find one of my favourite things about this book is that the author writes little comments to you, and I'm sure that this happens in other manga, but I've not read any manga for a while, so I'm not sure how common it is. But I like the fact that the author writes little things about their inspiration and ideas and their sort of hopes for your experience reading the book. And I really like that, so I highly recommend these. Do check the content warnings because, like I said, some of the images and some of the content, particularly in the power dynamics to do with the male and female character, did surprise me a little bit. So that is it, the books I read this month. As always, likes and subscribes are really appreciated. Please let me know in the comments if you've read any of these books, if you're excited about them, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!